Friends, the day in which we live is a day that's marked by high anxiety because of high uncertainty, because of the rapid changes that are taking place and the kinds of dynamics and the shakings we're facing nationally and globally. But with that, we're also being bombarded with messages that provide the illusion that we can be in control. If we just batten down the hatches and resolve our will, we can make it through this. What does Jesus have to say about all that? Because Jesus is really clear that as human beings, that we are vulnerable, we are frail, and that apart from him, we can't do a thing. And he's really clear about the fact that we're on a journey towards wholeness, but that will never be fully realized until the consummation of the kingdom. Those bombarding of images and messages from the culture of the illusion of control and that claim to meet our need for certainty by inflating our sense of having the ability to control the future, they're lies. They're from the powers of darkness, but they are actually increasing our sense of powerlessness and helplessness. And what's happening because of that is that we are being told that we're constantly advancing and improving, while all the while we're watching evil and wickedness and atrocities being committed. That technology that can help us is also being used to harm us. Now, this is not new, that since the Industrial Revolution, we've watched that evil doesn't go away. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. We're dealing with principalities and powers. And there's one thing I will never forget. Brother Charles Simpson said to my generation, when you're dealing with principalities and powers, you're dealing with vested interest. N.T. Wright, a number of years ago, did a marvelous job on the myth of progress from a perspective of the Scripture. I will never forget it. But what we need to do is realize that the kinds of messages that we're being bombarded with that are not true as the truth is in Jesus, if we keep allowing them to affect us, they can lead us to disillusionment when even in our own lives, progress seems unattainable. Now, God will give us what he has for us, but sometimes we can commingle that with drives and expectations that are unrealistic. And on top of that, we're being bombarded and burdened with an expectation to manage every aspect of our lives perfectly, from career success to personal wellness. And all of that is adding to stress, burnout, increased anxiety, and for many, despair and depression. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you." And a yoke, as we know, in terms of oxen or cattle, is enabled to cause plowing to be easier. But when that metaphor is used by the ancient rabbis, and particularly Jesus, he's talking about his teachings and his life, because the words Jesus speaks are spirit and life. So when he says, "Take my yoke upon you," he's saying, take everything I've taught, everything I'm saying, and learn from me. Learn from me in my personhood as the God-man. I am meek and lowly of heart, and in who I am, as you partake of me and what I teach, you'll find rest for your souls. We desperately need that. We need to allow that to permeate our consciousness and our ways and our walk. May God grant us all the peace that passes understanding, but it only can come through Christ, the truth as it is in Jesus.